Ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you very much this morning for joining us on a beautiful, warm Southern California morning. And this is really a fantastic morning because this is the inaugural stop of the Engineering and Public Works Roadshow. My name is Jeff Urbanchuk with the American Council of Engineering Companies, and I'll be your MC for the morning. And I want to kick this off by really just taking a look again at the amazing Long Beach International Gateway Bridge at the Port of Long Beach that we're here to spotlight today. And I want to start by welcoming a lot of our special guests who have joined us today in the audience and who will be joining us at the podium. First, Andrew Rogers, Chief Counsel, Federal Highways Administration. Congressman Lou Carrera, thank you very much for being here. Also, Gloria Roberts, Director of Caltrans District 7. We have Eric Lopez, Director of Public Works for the City of Long Beach. Sharon Wiseman, President of the Long Beach Port Commission. Richard Cameron, Port of Long Beach Deputy Executive Director of Planning and Development. David Warner, Senior Vice President with WSP USA, and the leaders of the Roadshow. We have Linda Bauer-Dar, President and CEO of the American Council of Engineering Companies, and joined by our board chair, Art Barrett. We have Scott Grayson, Chief Executive Officer of the American Public Works Association, and Tom Smith. He is the Executive Director of the American Society of Civil Engineers. You'll hear from a lot of these distinguished leaders this morning, but first we're going to talk about why we're actually here this morning. The Engineering and Public Works Roadshow is a new joint effort by the designers and the operators of America's infrastructure. And we're traveling across the country to showcase how infrastructure improvement can improve a community and spark economic growth. There's never been more important time now to do this because with the passage of the bipartisan infrastructure law now in place, now 1 year old, communities across the country are set to benefit from this historic legislation, and it will be America's engineers and public works officials who make this success happen. Now, to tell you why this bridge and why this port it serves are so deserving of its recognition today, it's my pleasure to first introduce the President of the American Council of Engineering Companies, Linda Bauer-Dar.
Thanks, Jeff. I also did want to acknowledge we have a port full of engineers. So if you're an engineer, raise your hand, will you? Look at that. So these are the leaders of the design world for designing infrastructure. Our friends from ACEC California are here, led by Brad Deedy, and a number of their most prestigious companies, including WSP, the designers of this bridge. So we're very excited to have all of you with us today. You know, when infrastructure works as it should, we take it for granted. Even when it enables us to drive to work, to fly to vacation destinations, or to instantly communicate. With every click into an online shopping cart, America's supply chain kicks into action. Getting those packages on time depends on a supply chain that actually works. That's why the Long Beach International Gateway Bridge is so essential. And the bridge to everywhere, it connects the world to our doorsteps. During the holidays, we all know this global marketplace is in overdrive, so it's more important now than any other time throughout the year. The Long Beach International Gateway Bridge is longer, safer, and more seismically resilient than the bridge it replaced. It empowers the Port of Long Beach to remain the gateway to the Pacific and a linchpin of trade and commerce for the next 100 years. It was designed that way by licensed professional engineers trained to make infrastructure work. Those are the reasons the American Council of Engineering Companies recognized the bridge, engineering firm WSP, and the Port of Long Beach with the prestigious Grand Award at our recent Engineering Excellence Award show. America's ports are the engines of commerce and economic growth. The Port of Los Angeles handles $200 billion in trade annually, sustains 1 in 5 local jobs, more than 575,000 jobs in California, 2.6 million jobs across the nation. The International Gateway Bridge is a link that the chain of commerce It's a link in a chain of commerce that fuels our economy. And we're hopeful that many more success stories are on the way. The bipartisan infrastructure law just turned 1 year old. Happy birthday. And is funding, yeah, you can clap for that. We're all very happy about that, and it is already funding projects across the country. But our industry faces significant workforce challenges that imperil the success of this monumental legislation. Our research shows that the bipartisan infrastructure law alone creates jobs for at least 82,000 new engineers, and that's just engineers. And engineering firms are already hampered by a workforce shortage. Our hope is that this roadshow will highlight examples of truly transformative infrastructure, sparking a generation of students across the country to say, I want to do that. I want to build that bridge. I want to clean our air. I want to clean our water. I want to make buildings strong enough to withstand any storm. I want to do that. We urge our leaders in Washington to support policies that incentivize STEM education for students and immigration policies that attract talented foreign engineers who, in many cases, have already graduated from and been trained right here in the United States, in California, and across the nation. We also urge Congress to double down on their support for the bipartisan infrastructure law and to look ahead to what comes next. America must compete in a challenging global marketplace. Commerce depends on bridges like the one behind us and ports like this, critical elements of our supply chain that keep commerce moving. This is a challenge, but engineers always find a way to get the job done. So thank you again for joining us today to celebrate engineering and infrastructure that works for America.
Thank you very much, Linda. Now it's my pleasure to welcome Scott Grayson, Chief Executive Officer of the American Public Works Association. Scott.
Thank you. And Linda, great words, so I'm all done. No, I've got a few words. So we have great speakers ahead of us, so I'll only speak about an hour or so don't even worry about that. But since this is our first road show, hang on. We need a selfie. Okay. So I want to thank everybody for having us and hosting us at the kickoff of our roadshow. I want to acknowledge Lisa Rapp, who's on our national board, and Sean Ahmad, who's in the back here, who was on our board. It's amazing, as I walked around this morning and spoke with everyone, most of you are members of ACEC, APWA, and ASCE, all at the same time. And through this is really why we launched this partnership. We get along extremely well, and we have great collaboration and overlap. And just under a year ago, we were speaking about highlighting the great works of all of you, engineers and public works. And as Linda stated, when everything's working, nobody knows you're out there. And I once spoke at a meeting, and I was brand new in my role, and I said, nobody knows who you are. And they nearly asked me to leave. And I said, that's a great thing. It means everything is working. So your professional associations like ours are responsible for spreading that word. I once held office on a city council in a first-ring suburb of Minneapolis, and we would ask our staff, create this, create that. And it was truly moonshot thinking, which is trying to imagine the unimaginable. And as you see, you have this amazing bridge here that I'm in awe of. So we thought this is a great place to start. When we ask our engineers and public works professionals to step up and create amazing works, somehow they always find that solution. And what is amazing as well, and most people other than you here don't realize is that public works and engineering skills creates public safety, public health, and also stimulates the economy, as Linda was speaking about workforce. So we're celebrating 1 year from when the bipartisan infrastructure law was signed, and we all recognize and acknowledge that we have a workforce shortage and supply chain shortage as well. And as I'm out speaking with public works directors around the United States, every one of them has this challenge. But we as a group, as a partnership, will collaborate and help solve those problems. Engineers, public works are really, really great at solving what's unsolvable. Lastly, I'd say that we're all here to work with the U.S. Congress and the administration to help enhance education, help promote apprenticeships and internships as well, so that now that we have this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to spend $1.2 trillion in spending in infrastructure, we want to make sure that we spend it in the right ways and that we have enough staff and that we have the supplies that we need. So thank you once again for being here, and we're excited to see what comes next. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Tom Smith, the Executive Director of the American Society for Civil Engineers.
Thank you. Greetings, everybody. It's great to see a lot of engineers here, and it's also great to see a lot of non-engineers here. We spend a lot of time talking about infrastructure, public works projects. It's great to be here with our partners, Linda and ACEC, Scott, APWA. I'd also like to introduce Ken Rosenfield, Region 9 Director from ASCE. We were just out here also, by the way, last month for our convention in Anaheim, and we had an event out here at the Port of Long Beach. It's so critical to the success of our country, to our global competitiveness. Love seeing this coming in, lots of freight coming in as we speak. And it's incredible to see projects like this that make this work for our country. This is a busy time for projects as the port and the Gateway Bridge that play a critical role in the nation's supply chain. And I'd like to commend you all for your hard work to ensure that American families and businesses are getting what they need in time for the holidays. We recently celebrated, as Linda mentioned, the bipartisan infrastructure law being adopted a year ago. A historic step for our economy and public safety and for our built environment. This investment is going to pave the way for more major projects to move forward, potentially even projects with national impacts as significant as this bridge we see in our backdrop. This comes at a critical time. Inflation continues to weigh heavy on our country, on each American household that is already burdened with the rising costs when they go to the grocery store or fill up their gas tanks. But ASCE's economic study, Failure to Act, estimates that every family pays about $3,300 per year when we fail to invest in our nation's infrastructure. That's the hidden tax that we pay when we fail to invest. So when we invest in projects like this, we see an enormous return on that investment, and we remove that hidden tax that we otherwise pay that produces nothing for our country. The record-breaking funding available through this bill will only go as far as the skilled engineers and public works professionals will take it, as you heard from Linda. Our industry is facing a major shortage of skilled workers. It is crucial that the next generation of engineers and public works professionals join the ranks so that projects like this one can move forward. Projects like the Gateway Bridge, the Port of Long Beach were made possible by a thriving workforce intent on improving their community and making lives better, the public health, safety, and welfare. Infrastructure investment means goods are stocked on shelves across the country in times for the holidays, but these investments go beyond our holiday traditions. They allow clean water to come out of the tap, they keep the energy grid running, and they keep houses warm during cold winter months. They also connect us through broadband connections, even in remote parts of the country, so that children have access to learning tools and families can stay connected no matter where they are located. Infrastructure is what brings us together. It is what attracts people to our industry, the chance to improve public health, safety, and welfare. We are thrilled that this bill is providing us an opportunity to transform communities for the betterment and driving economic growth, just like investments at the Port of Long Beach have for the entire region. We are very proud of this work. I'm proud of the engineers that worked on this project and all the public works professionals that were involved for the great things that you're doing for our country, for our public health, safety, and welfare. Look forward to the challenges ahead. I know that engineers are ready to meet them. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Tom. I mean, look at that. That's just, I mean, that's infrastructure in action right here. I mean, what Linda said earlier about kids and getting them involved. You can design this. You can do this. With then just, you know, stay in school, study STEM, become an engineer, work in public works, and you can be part of this, making America work. Now it is my great pleasure to welcome Andrew Rogers, the Chief Counsel of the Federal Highways Administration. And Andrew, we timed it for this for you as the background here.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. That was pretty much perfectly timed. It's great when we're on time and on budget. So first off, on behalf of the Biden-Harris administration, we are proud to say goodbye to Infrastructure Week and hello to an infrastructure decade as we work together to implement the President's bipartisan infrastructure law. Before I get into my remarks, I just want to say thank you to the American Council of Engineering Companies, American Public Works Association, American Society of Civil Engineers, and most importantly, everyone involved in putting today's roadshow together. Just give yourself a hand of applause. Now, in a setting like this, it would be easy to lose myself speaking to infrastructure for the sake of infrastructure. In just the first year of implementing the President's bipartisan infrastructure law, U.S. DOT has funded over 2,800 bridge repair and replacement projects across the United States. We've approved all 52 electric vehicle charging infrastructure deployment plans in every state, the District of Columbia, and Puerto Rico, ahead of schedule. And we have awarded $2.2 billion in grant funding that will modernize roads, bridges, railways, transits, airports, and seaports to make our transportation systems safer, more accessible, more efficient, and more sustainable. And it would be easy to lose myself promising you that this was just year one and that we've got 4 more years to come. But doing that would confine the impact your work has on American communities to top-line figures in a long spreadsheet, missing the real-life human impact that fixing our infrastructure has. Whether it's the parent trying to get their kids to school before working a double, who will no longer be stuck in traffic when freight trucks are detoured because of a weight-posted bridge, or a small business owner, like the ones President Biden visited this past Small Business Saturday, who can be confident that our American supply chain will deliver the goods their customers are relying on this holiday season, as they prepare to exchange gifts in person after years of pandemic precautions have kept us apart. Or it's the child just learning to ride her bike, whose whole world will open up because of a new protected bike lane or the extension of an urban greenway that will connect them safely to their school, the library, and their friends. That is the transformative power of great infrastructure. So my message today is simple. Thank you. Thank you for your partnership as we work to turn President Biden's vision of building a better America into a new reality made of low-carbon cement, I-beam steel, and warm mix asphalt. Our work would not be possible without you and the many industrial professionals that you all here represent. Now, I will pass the microphone here, but on behalf of Secretary Buttigieg, the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Federal Highway Administration, and the whole Biden-Harris administration, I offer my sincere gratitude for everything you have done and will continue to do to help us deliver better, smarter infrastructure on time and on budget. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Now it is my pleasure to welcome Congressman Lou Carrera to the podium for some remarks. Congressman.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. The Long Beach International Gateway Bridge, Let's give a round of applause to our engineers and our public works professionals. This is a testament that America still builds the best in the world. We are still the best. And I want to take a moment to thank the American taxpayers for investing in America. A lot of you talked about the bipartisan infrastructure law, a bill that I was happy to support. Couldn't be made possible without the support of the American taxpayers. Let's talk about the context here of the moment. Building this great bridge, seeing it work after COVID-19. We haven't won that battle yet, but we're almost there. Look around the world. Most other world economies are still on their knees. Second largest economy is still shut down. We're coming out of COVID-19 roaring out of there. We are strong, and we are getting stronger. We're looking to continue to invest in building bridges, not only across the seaway, but with other nations. You have this concept called nearshoring. We're trying to work, trade with other countries around the world. America is a place where we do it better. We're the best at doing business around the world. And with investments like this, we are investing in the future economy of our children. You know, if you look at history of this country, after World War II, the greatest generation came back to America and built the greatest nation this world has ever seen. They built the greatest economy ever seen in this world. We're doing the same thing here today, reinvesting in the future of America. We are doing it right. A couple of weeks ago, I got back from Central America, where I was looking to tour to try to help with this concept of nearshoring, meaning what can you, our neighbors, do? How can we help you get on your feet to manufacture, to trade with America, to work with us, to create economic activity? Everybody said, yes, sí se puede. The challenge is lack of infrastructure, lack of roads, electric generation capacity, water capacity. It'll take them a decade to get here. We're here right now. And this investment will make sure that we stay ahead of the curve and we continue to do best in the world. And frankly, as a generation that inherited this great nation from the greatest generation, it's on our shoulders to make sure that we leave the next generation the promise that we inherited moving forward. Let me thank those that helped put this event together. Linda, loved your comments. Workforce development, immigration, stem cell, got to do it. Scott Grayson, thank you very much. And Tom Smith, again, thank you. Want to recognize my fellow guests, of course, Andrew Rogers, Richard Cameron, and President Sharon Weissman of the Long Beach Harbor Commission. Long Beach, LA, 40% of the nation's trade right here. This bridge, look at the factoid behind you. 15% of U.S. waterborne cargo is crossing on that bridge. Thank you very much. I accept your challenge to keep working on these great infrastructure projects in the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Congressman. Now it's my pleasure to welcome Gloria Roberts, Caltrans, Director of District 7.
Good morning, everyone. I want to first thank the American Council of Engineering Companies, American Public Works Association, and American Society of Civil Engineers for having this brilliant idea of creating a roadshow to celebrate the importance of public infrastructure. I also want to thank Sharon Wiseman, Long Beach Harbor Commission, for hosting today's event. It is a true honor to be here today to have the Long Beach International Gateway Bridge be the first stop of this Public Works Roadshow, to be the flagship and emblem of what infrastructure stands for. This bridge is the result of collaboration amongst multiple engineering firms and public agencies. We at Caltrans provided the design-build project delivery oversight for this bridge. And with me here today is Caltrans engineer Greg Farr. Where are you, Greg? Thank you. Who was the lead of this magnificent project for Caltrans? Greg is also our Deputy District Director of Design, and I thank him as an engineer for modeling always collaboration and partnership. As a structure, as we just saw, this bridge provides 205 feet of vertical clearance for the largest container ships of today and the greenest container ships of tomorrow. And as part of the state's highway system, it connects I-710 with State Route 47. And this bridge also facilitates safe passage of not just heavy trucks and vehicles, but pedestrians and cyclists. As an engine of economic development and community prosperity, this project created approximately 10,000 direct jobs. In addition, the funding partners of this bridge, which included the Port of Long Beach, the U.S. Department of Transportation, the State of California, and LA Metro, we all collectively recognize that investment in infrastructure is critical to promoting economy for our state. Caltrans recognizes the importance of this collaboration amongst engineering firms and public agencies, and working together, we are creating the best infrastructure for the people that we serve, the people of our region, our state, and our country. Our collaboration allows us to leverage our resources as we continue to find innovative transportation solutions with Caltrans's 4 foundational principles of safety, climate action, equity, and economic prosperity for our communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And, you know, this event would not be possible without, of course, the port and the harbor at Long Beach. And just want to give a shout out to the wonderful people at the port who helped us organize this event. Just fantastic group of professionals, dedicated professionals. And it is now my pleasure to welcome the president of the Long Beach Harbor Commission, Sharon Wiseman. Thank you so much.
Well, let me say, first of all, as president of the Harbor Commission, I take all the credit for the ship coming in at the time it did. You know, I also have to say, I think it was when Scott was talking and he said, you know, there's an excess of $1 trillion and we hope it'll be spent, and he paused for just a second and I was hoping he was going to say at the Port of Long Beach, but instead he said wisely. So I guess I can understand. But thank you so much, and welcome to the Port of Long Beach. We are thrilled to have you here, and with this beautiful backdrop, starting the roadshow here on the West Coast makes perfect sense. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend and are well rested as we begin this busy holiday season. And what better way to be recognizing the Long Beach International Gateway Bridge than on Cyber Monday? Because how much of what people buy is going to be traveling over that bridge in the next few days, weeks, month. But we are very honored that the 3 of the nation's leading engineering and public works organizations picked right here in Long Beach to showcase how infrastructure projects like the Long Beach International Gateway Bridge can lift the nation's economy. And you know, I have to say that I often say that, you know, everything you're wearing, everything in your house, everything where you work came on a truck. But I think I'm going to now have to add to that everywhere you walk, everywhere you drive, everywhere you ride was designed by an engineer. So I'm going to have to increase. Yep. Yeah, people don't realize what goes into all the things they use every day. And for instance, decades of effort went into building this magnificent bridge. Construction started in 2013, but the port started planning more than 10 years before that to replace the Gerald Desmond Bridge with the beautiful bridge you see behind me. This new bridge opened in October of 2020. As mentioned, it's built to last 100 years. It's a critical piece of infrastructure to sustain long-term growth here at the Port of Long Beach. It has, as was mentioned, a 205-foot clearance for vessels, making it high enough to allow large ships to easily access the port's inner harbor. Now, many of you are engineers, and I'm sure as that ship was coming by, you knew it would fit, but you know, it's the perspective, and I thought, is that going to fit under that? And of course it did. But the bridge is not only economically significant to the port and our region, but it is, you have to admit, a stunning addition to the Southern California skyline. At night, the multicolored LED system illuminates the bridge's 2 support towers and cables, and in any number of seasonal colors or to commemorate things going on in the city or the region. And then I have some good news to share about our bridge. The Mark Bixby Memorial Bicycle Pedestrian Path, that is not easy to say, running along the south side of the bridge is scheduled to open in 2023. So that new path is equipped with observation decks that will offer spectacular views of our bustling harbor, the Catalina Island. So we're truly excited about the Long Beach International Gateway Bridge. We appreciate very much the recognition from the ACEC, the APWA, and the ASCE. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I guess a little footnote, I mean, I saw the reports and the estimates coming out from CNBC and other media outlets that today we're looking at a 5% increase in shopping over last year and Cyber Monday. And then also the estimates put it in around $11.2 billion of economic activity today. So shoppers are out in force. They're clicking on those online shopping carts, and those deliveries are going over the bridge. And keeping in the theme of course, the Port of Long Beach, it's now my pleasure to welcome Mr. Richard Cameron. He is the Executive Director of Planning and Development with the Port, and thank you very much for joining us this morning. Thank you.
So I'm not going to be redundant because there's been a lot of talk about this bridge, but I will say I'm not an engineer, I'm a planner. So I don't know if that, I'm a planner, sorry. All right. My boss, unfortunately, couldn't be here today because he's dedicated right now at the federal level working on maritime. And so he wanted to wish you guys all well, and especially celebrating this bridge and infrastructure and everything else. He's there. He's working at the federal level right now on a committee to make sure we have dollars available for not only maritime but logistics. You know, everything that it makes this nation flow. When you just saw that ship, that's just a ship. You know, we need dredging, we need wharves, we need rail, we need the new innovation of where we're headed when it comes to zero emissions. And so how do we all pull this together? And I think that's a really big part of what the Port of Long Beach is doing. What's our long-term vision about where we want to connect the dots collectively? We want to be a zero-emission port. We're seeing our maritime industry moving in that direction on the water and on the land. Rail. You know, there's a lot of talks today about what's happening, you know, with a potential, you know, shutdown when it comes to rail, national. That's huge. You know, there's a lot of other discussions that are happening right now around you know, on the West Coast in particular. But our focal point always here at the Port of Long Beach is how do we continue to push forward, collaborate, move forward with delivering. And so this bridge back here, we delivered this bridge in the middle of COVID. We delivered one of the #1 zero-emission, cleanest terminals, container terminals in the world. We delivered that in the middle of COVID. And it takes a village to be able to do that. It's not just the port staff, which I want to make some accolades to a few folks, but to everybody who helps us in the world of delivering what we see here today. You know, we have to maintain, but also we have to think about the future as well. So I want to, you know, when we talk about the bridge here, Dwayne Carnegie, where's Dwayne? All right, he's in the back, because that's Dwayne. He should be sitting next to our board president, but he decided to sit in the back. Dwayne was, talk about leadership. He was brought on board from private consulting to help deliver this project. And in the middle of that, he was then asked to be the acting CEO of the port. And then he went back to the bridge and delivered the bridge. But he did all of that, and so, anyways, you're a good friend, and I value your mentorship. So, thank you, sir. He's one of the key leaders. Sean Gamet, where's Sean? So Sean is, I'm a planner. He's the engineer, and him and Suzanne Plesia, who's our chief harbor engineer. I'm not sure if Suzanne's here or not. She's not. Okay. I am never going to pretend to be an engineer, ever. I am always going to go to my team, and they do a great job. Sean was part of the bridge project as well, but more importantly, we've over $3 to $4 billion in the last couple years of delivering infrastructure projects. It goes to my team, and I really appreciate them. I know Mario, if he was here, he'd be saying the same thing. And we need to keep, as much as we've gotten, we have a great window of opportunity, especially at the federal and the state level. We need to keep sustaining ourselves when it comes to infrastructure dollars. And I think that's important. And I appreciate the groups here that are supporting that. And we need to keep doing that because, you know, talk is talk, but we can deliver, you know? And I think that's the important part here is delivering and showing we can deliver and having plans to do so. So I'm going to stop there, but thank you so much and welcome Long Beach. It was a little sunnier yesterday, but hey, still nice and calm out there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, it's still better in Washington, D.C. in November, so we'll definitely take it. Now it's my pleasure to welcome David Warner from WSP, the engineering firm that was responsible for the project management over the design-build project for the bridge. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I am honored to be here today. WSP is a global engineering and architecture company with a primary focus on infrastructure. And our mission is to future-proof our communities and the environment. And because of that, WSP and firms like ours, the way we support infrastructure is by providing planning, environmental services, design and engineering, project delivery, program management, construction management, and sometimes we even support the operations of infrastructure. What's equally important to all of those services, though, is partnerships. And partnerships happen in many forms. First, it's important that we partner with communities. And what that means is making sure that we listen to communities, we understand their needs, their concerns, and through planning, design, construction, and operation of infrastructure, we find ways to address that. We also partner with regional agencies. That's important because we must have aligned objectives, ones that help us leverage additional funding that we don't currently have, and also help find economic opportunity. The third partnership comes in partnering between firms in our industry. And specifically, I'm speaking to small, minority, and women-owned businesses, and making sure that we are mentoring and building capacity for a thriving region and economy. So when I think about the project behind us, it included all of those. And WSP is proud to have been involved in the planning, design, and construction phases of this project. Now, the outcomes that we strive for are ones that start with equity. And that means lifting up underrepresented communities and finding ways to make sure that there is access to opportunities. And infrastructure plays a critical role in making sure we have that outcome for our communities and for the economy. Thank you.
And to round out our speaking order, I'm very pleased to welcome to the podium our board chair at ACEC, Art Barrett.
So I was supposed to start off by saying I'm Art Barrett, but Jeff just did. But I am a professional engineer. Work for Gannett Fleming. What a better backdrop. I mean, we're talking about the bridge, but I was sitting there and we've had IIJA examples all over the place. We had planes taking off, ports going through, cars, trucking, all kinds of different transportation infrastructure services. We even have the power lines going through for the power infrastructure. So fantastic backdrop. Thank you very much, Port. So getting back to my prepared remarks here. Engineering and design services are a critical part of the economy. Employing more than 1.5 million highly trained professionals who contribute $558 million to the economy and provide services of $114 billion in federal, state, and local tax revenue statewide. So Congressman, going back to your comments as far as needing additional staff with immigration, totally agree with you. We need a lot of help. California leads the nation in engineering's economic impact, employing more than 12% of all engineering jobs in the U.S. and contributing $81.6 billion to the GDP. When engineers say they design the built environment, we get asked, what's that mean? Well, just look around you. Every building, utility, road, tunnel, bridge, port, all designed by engineers. For each project, engineers must master hundreds, if not thousands, of variables, from threats of earthquake, extreme weather, to shifting traffic patterns and construction materials, just to name a few. Looking around again, these are just the projects you can see. As Sharon noted, there are many hidden below the ground or inside those structures with complicated web of interconnected infrastructure systems that we rely on daily without realizing it. Those energy, telecommunications, HVAC, water supply and treatment plants, fire suppression systems only work because engineers design them. They continue to work because public work officials and employees maintain and extend their life operation spans. Engineers are essential and instrumental in building a better America. Our civil engineers help plan and build our roads, bridges, and infrastructure. Electrical engineers help make our grids more resilient. Mechanical engineers drive sustainable solutions, and our environmental engineers deliver clean water. We are mission-driven to make the world better, and our work couldn't have gone without our public work partners. On behalf of our three organizations, it's my pleasure to recognize the Port of Long Beach for its past, present, and future contributions to the excellence in engineering and public works. Sharon, we have an award here for you. Do we want to have the ASCE and APW too?
Thank you. You know what? Sorry.
Sharon, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Art. Everyone, this concludes the formal part of the program, but we're all here. We're all in the industry. Let's hang around, talk, and I would like, actually, before we close out, all the speakers to come up for a group shot. That would be wonderful if we could get that, and after that, we will close the program. Thank you so much for being here this morning on Cyber Monday. Looking forward to a very busy holiday season, and stay safe out there on the roads.